It's midnight, and the world around you is quiet. But there you are, lying awake in bed, tossing and turning, trying to silence the endless thoughts racing through your mind. You can feel that your body is tired, but somehow, sleep just won't come. Maybe you drift off for an hour or two here and there, but it's restless, fractured sleep that never reaches those deep, rejuvenating stages. Now, imagine this happens night after night. At first, it's just irritating. Maybe you get a little grouchy, your energy dips, and you shrug it off thinking, it's just a rough patch. But then, something strange starts happening. You feel drained all day, even after a full night in bed. Your memory feels foggy, your concentration slips, and before you know it, the things that once brought you joy start feeling like chores. You begin to wonder, what's happening to me? This story isn't unique. For many people over 50, this experience of restless, interrupted, or barely their sleep is all too real. Yet, what if I told you that the quality of your sleep is more than just a matter of energy levels or mood? What if the real danger of poor sleep isn't just about feeling sluggish, but about the impact on your body, your brain, and your future? You see, there's a side of sleep that goes far beyond merely getting rest. It's a process, deep and intricate, that's essential for life itself. The real role of deep sleep in aging. As we age, our bodies undergo subtle, yet profound changes that make restful, deep sleep more challenging, but also more important than ever. Deep sleep, specifically, is when the body does its most powerful repair work. During these deep stages, our cells renew, our immune system strengthens, and our brain clears out toxins that could otherwise damage cognitive function. Skipping out on deep sleep is like skipping routine maintenance on a car. It might keep running for a while, but eventually, it'll break down in unexpected ways. Studies show that people who consistently lack deep sleep experience quicker cellular aging, reduced memory function, and even diminished physical health. In fact, as scientists have discovered, deep sleep could be our body's most effective anti-aging remedy. Think of it as the fountain of youth you never knew you had, quietly rejuvenating you every night, but only if you reach that crucial stage of sleep. The scary part? As you reach your 50s and beyond, the body's natural ability to slip into deep sleep begins to diminish. Hormonal changes, lifestyle stress, and even chronic health issues can interrupt your body's natural rhythm, making it harder and harder to fall and stay asleep. This decline in sleep quality can trigger a chain reaction. Less restorative sleep means less energy, poor memory, and a weakened immune system. It's not just about feeling tired. It's about your body missing out on the deep reset it needs to keep functioning at its best. The hidden link between deep sleep and memory loss. One of the most surprising and least discussed connections to poor sleep in midlife is its link to memory and cognitive health. Think back to a time you woke up after a night of tossing and turning, feeling groggy and unfocused. Remember how difficult it was to recall details, even simple things like where you left your keys or what you needed from the store. Now imagine that becoming your daily reality. Our brains depend on deep sleep to process and store memories. During deep sleep, our brains replay and solidify important information, almost like backing up your computer. Without it, those memories don't stick, and over time, this can lead to a significant loss in memory and cognitive sharpness. In people over 50, studies have shown that a lack of deep sleep can even accelerate the onset of memory-related diseases like Alzheimer's. The brain, deprived of its time to reset, becomes vulnerable, susceptible to the buildup of proteins and plaques that can alter memory and cognitive function permanently. But what's even more unsettling is that this process is silent. The effects of sleep deprivation on memory don't show up overnight. They're subtle, sneaking up as a series of small, forgettable moments. It's only after months, or even years, that people begin to realize the effects poor sleep has had on their mind, the physical toll. A hidden crisis in your body. Deep sleep is a time when the body is supposed to do its cleanup, a period when your cells get a much-needed detox, healing, and growth time. But without this critical stage of sleep, the very structure of your body begins to wear down. Muscles recover less efficiently, leading to soreness and longer recovery times after physical activity. Joints feel stiffer, and injuries become more frequent and more painful. The immune system, lacking the chance to rejuvenate, becomes weaker, leaving you vulnerable to illness. And on a more serious note, the heart, too, suffers from a lack of deep sleep. Scientists have uncovered that people who sleep less than the recommended amount face a 20% higher risk of heart disease. Without enough deep sleep, blood pressure doesn't lower as it should during the night, and this added strain can lead to inflammation, hypertension, and even a higher chance of cardiovascular disease. When deep sleep disappears, hormones go haywire beyond just physical and mental effects. There's a hidden but critical impact on our body's delicate hormonal balance. Sleep, especially deep sleep, is deeply intertwined with the release of hormones like cortisol, melatonin, and growth hormone. Cortisol, often called the stress hormone, plays a major role in regulating our energy levels and mood. When deep sleep is disrupted, cortisol levels remain elevated, leading to feelings of stress, anxiety, and sometimes even depression in our 50s. When the body's hormone balance naturally shifts, disrupted sleep only makes these changes more dramatic. Imagine feeling wired during the day because your cortisol levels are too high, or being unable to fall asleep because melatonin production has slowed down. This imbalance can turn into a vicious cycle where poor sleep leads to hormonal imbalance, which then makes sleep even harder to achieve. And here's a surprising twist. This disruption can even affect your weight. When we don't get deep sleep, the hormone leptin, which signals fullness, drops, while ghrelin, the hormone that signals hunger, increases. As a result, those who sleep poorly often crave more food and are at a higher risk of weight gain. So, the hidden consequences of poor sleep extend even to our physical appearance. Deep sleep as the true fountain of youth. Imagine waking up refreshed, fully energized, feeling like you did years ago. That's the power of deep sleep. In midlife, deep sleep becomes almost a form of youth insurance, protecting everything from your skin's health and your immune system to your cognitive clarity. But for many people over 50, achieving deep, restful sleep is elusive, almost like chasing a ghost. So, how do you reclaim this essential part of health? As we delve deeper, we'll uncover 3 natural solutions that can transform your nights, helping you reach that coveted deep sleep that leaves you waking up each morning renewed and ready. Stay tuned. These 3 solutions may seem simple, but they've changed lives for thousands who once thought deep sleep was out of reach. Absolutely. Here's a deep, engaging, and creatively written continuation for point 2, sleep challenges at midlife, focusing on the common obstacles to achieving deep sleep after age 50. This text is crafted to pull the viewer in with vivid storytelling and tangible examples, outlining why quality sleep becomes elusive at this stage of life and highlighting the various physical and psychological barriers and the quiet hours of the night. As you lie in bed seeking sleep's comfort, you start to notice the subtle ways it slips further from your reach. The room is dark, the house is still, yet sleep feels distant, a visitor who no longer lingers as it once did. You remember when falling asleep was effortless, a natural part of your night that required no second thought. But now, sleep has become like a rare treasure that you search for every evening, only to wake feeling as if you've missed its restorative embrace once again. Perhaps you start by blaming it on the day, convincing yourself that your mind is just too active or that stress is keeping you awake. You try to tell yourself it's just a passing phase. But over time, as the nights of fitful, shallow rest begin stacking up, a pattern emerges, and you realize this isn't just temporary. You're part of an unspoken club, people over 50 who find that each night feels a little harder, each morning a little heavier. It's the curious yet common journey of those reaching their middle years, a time when, without warning, sleep transforms from a reliable ritual into a nightly challenge. Point 1 of the main culprits is a shift so small, so silent, that we rarely see it coming: hormones. The very hormones that served you in your youth, guiding you effortlessly into sleep and through the phases of the night, begin to shift like a well-loved clock that no longer keeps perfect time. Men and women alike find themselves at the mercy of these natural hormonal changes, often without realizing their impact until sleep becomes a nightly struggle. For men, testosterone levels gradually decline, and though they may feel its effect subtly in other parts of their lives, it's during sleep that the full impact is felt. Testosterone, after all, is closely linked to overall energy, mood, and even the body's ability to rest. A dip in testosterone can lead to fragmented sleep, more nighttime awakenings, and an overall restless feeling that makes mornings less refreshing than they once were. Women face similar challenges, though often in a different way. The decline in estrogen and progesterone during menopause and postmenopause can make falling and staying asleep difficult. Estrogen helps regulate body temperature and calm the nervous system, making it easier to fall asleep and stay comfortable through the night. But when estrogen levels drop, women experience temperature fluctuations, often resulting in night sweats or sudden feelings of heat that pull them out of slumber. Progesterone, a natural sedative in the body, also decreases with age, which removes one more layer of that gentle push towards sleep. For many women, this hormonal shift is both shocking and frustrating. The one thing they took for granted, restful sleep, now seems beyond reach, controlled by forces they can't see or influence. But hormones aren't alone in this battle. Another powerful factor comes into play: the simple yet complex physical changes that accompany aging. As we reach our 50s, aches and pains start appearing like uninvited guests. They show up in the joints, in the back, in places that have weathered years of work, play, and movement. Even minor discomfort, if it's persistent enough, can turn into a nightly interruption that pulls you out of the precious stages of deep sleep. Tossing and turning becomes an instinctive response, and before you know it, the body's natural flow from light sleep into the deeper, more restorative stages is disrupted. For anyone who has experienced this cycle, it's an exhausting one. You finally find a comfortable position, drift off, and just as you start to descend into restful sleep, an ache in your hip or back tugs you out of it. It's like being stuck in a loop, never quite able to dive deep enough into sleep to feel its true benefits. And as this pattern repeats, the body starts compensating, finding ways to keep going despite the lack of rest. Over time, however, the consequences build up. You might feel a little slower, a little foggier, and perhaps notice that your patience is thinner, your energy lower, and your mood more fragile. Then there's the quiet but persistent impact of stress, that invisible weight we carry as responsibilities and pressures accumulate over the years. By the time we reach midlife, stress has often embedded itself so deeply into our routines that we no longer see it as something separate. It simply feels like part of life. And while stress may be manageable during the day, at night it's a different story. Lying in bed in the dark, the mind can quickly turn to replaying the day, analyzing conversations, or worrying about tomorrow's tasks. Stress becomes a silent thief, robbing you of the calm needed to ease into sleep and keeping you anchored in a state of mild alertness, as if ready to spring into action at any moment. It's ironic. The more we want to fall asleep, the more elusive it becomes. This heightened alertness is often a result of the brain's increased production of cortisol, a hormone directly tied to stress. Cortisol serves us well in moments of danger, keeping us alert and prepared to react. However, as we age, stress and cortisol can become misaligned with our sleep rhythms. The body starts to experience small spikes of cortisol during the night, disrupting the natural decrease that usually allows for restful, deep sleep. In the quiet hours, this subtle increase keeps the body on edge, like an engine humming quietly but never fully turning off. You might not be fully awake, but you're not fully asleep either, caught in a frustrating limbo that leaves you feeling exhausted by morning. Adding to this mix is the gradual reduction in melatonin, the hormone that regulates our sleep-wake cycle. Melatonin acts like a guide, signaling the body when it's time to wind down. As we age, the natural production of melatonin decreases, and the body's response to light, especially artificial light, can interfere with what remains. Exposure to screens, artificial lighting, and even indoor lighting in the evening hours can confuse our bodies, delaying the natural release of melatonin and making it harder to fall asleep at a reasonable hour. This phenomenon is especially prevalent in our current age, where screens are ever present, and it's easy to carry the day's activity right into bedtime. Complicating things further is a lesser-known phenomenon known as advanced sleep phase disorder, ASPD, a condition that causes people to feel sleepy much earlier in the evening than they would like. While falling asleep at 7 or 8 p.m. might not sound so bad at first, it leads to waking up far too early. often before dawn, leaving people feeling tired long before the day is done. This shift can make social activities, evening family time, and even relaxing before bed challenging, as the body seems to operate on its own clock, pulling you to bed when you'd rather be awake and waking you when you'd rather sleep. Some people turn to short naps throughout the day to make up for the poor quality of their nighttime rest. And while a short nap can indeed be refreshing, the cumulative effect is often counterproductive. These catch-up naps can start interfering with nighttime sleep even further, making it more challenging to get back on track. The body becomes confused, unsure whether to stay alert or rest, and sleep ends up feeling fragmented, like a patchwork quilt that never fully covers the eye and the face of all these changes. Some people attempt to manage by sheer willpower, telling themselves that they'll catch up or that they don't need as much sleep as they once did. But while the body is resilient, it's not immune to the effects of sleep deprivation. Over time, even subtle shifts in sleep quality can lead to more pronounced changes in physical and mental health. The brain, deprived of its time to rest, starts to experience small lapses in memory. Conversations fade, details blur, and a once sharp mind can start feeling less dependable. Physically, you might notice slower recovery times after a workout, or find that your skin and energy levels seem less resilient. And yet, the complexity of sleep is that the harder we try, the more it slips away. Those over 50 often find themselves battling this paradox, knowing they need sleep more than ever yet feeling as if it's constantly just out of reach. It's no wonder, then, that so many people begin looking for answers, turning to everything from herbal teas and calming music to meditation practices and sleep aids. The journey to recapturing sleep can become almost a nightly ritual of trial and error, each attempt offering hope but often falling short. Here is an in-depth, creative narrative exploring Point 3, Natural Solutions for Deep Sleep, where we dive into the 3 natural solutions that can help restore restful sleep for people in midlife. The style is engaging and vivid, using storytelling to build interest in each solution and encouraging viewers to see sleep as a powerful yet attainable goal. Imagine this. After years of restless nights and drowsy mornings, you finally wake up feeling truly refreshed, as if you've discovered a hidden switch that resets your body and mind. The world around you seems brighter, your thoughts clearer, and there's a lightness to your step that you haven't felt in years. It's not magic, not a miracle. It's the result of a few simple adjustments, natural approaches that hold the key to bringing deep, revitalizing sleep back into your life. You may think this is too good to be true, but these changes are rooted in the body's natural processes, harnessing methods that have helped people achieve real rest for centuries. The journey to rediscover deep sleep begins with a single, almost invisible ally: natural supplements. For many, the concept of sleep supplements might sound too good to be true or too simplistic to address the complex issues that steal our rest. But when chosen and used carefully, these natural aids can help restore balance, especially when the body's own mechanisms start needing a bit more support. Melatonin, for instance, is one such aid that works almost like a whisper, reminding your body that nighttime has arrived and it's time to let go. Melatonin isn't a sedative. It doesn't knock you out or force your mind to switch off. Instead, it gently guides the body into a state of readiness, helping it fall into a sleep pattern that feels more like a return to an old rhythm. For those over 50 whose natural melatonin levels tend to decrease with age, this supplement can make all the difference. Taking it about 30 minutes to an hour before bed can give your body that needed nudge, a reminder that it's time to shift gears. But melatonin doesn't work in isolation. It's part of a dance with darkness and light, helping to reset your circadian rhythm, the inner clock that has guided your sleep cycle since childhood. Then there's magnesium, the unsung hero of relaxation. Imagine it as the quiet, unassuming guest at a party who knows how to ease tension without stealing the spotlight. Magnesium plays a role in over 300 biochemical reactions in the body, many of which are linked to muscle relaxation and stress reduction. When taken before bed, magnesium can help relieve physical tension, making it easier to lie still without the urge to shift positions. This mineral supports nerve function, muscle relaxation, and even helps with the production of serotonin, a neurotransmitter that calms the brain and lifts the mood. In fact, Studies have shown that people with low magnesium levels are more likely to experience insomnia, which makes sense when you consider the body's need for relaxation and calm before it can surrender to sleep. For those who struggle with tight muscles or find themselves waking up with a tense jaw or clenched fists, magnesium can be that gentle balm, easing the body into stillness. But perhaps the most ancient of sleep aids is valerian root, a plant that has been used for centuries to calm the nervous system. Valerian isn't a hammer to the brain, but rather a soft, grounding influence that encourages deep relaxation. It's like a guide for the mind, encouraging it to let go of the anxieties, worries, and stray thoughts that swirl in the background. Many who try valerian report a feeling of drowsy calm that's both grounding and peaceful, and while it doesn't force sleep, it can make the journey toward it feel more natural and smooth. Valerian works especially well for those who find themselves restless or anxious before bed, as it's known to help reduce the time it takes to fall asleep. When used consistently, valerian's effects can build, creating a cumulative sense of calm that makes each night's sleep feel a bit more like a welcome refuge. Yet, as powerful as supplements can be, the secret to deep sleep doesn't end there. In fact, creating an environment that supports rest is just as crucial. Imagine your bedroom as a sanctuary, a place where every detail is designed to lull your senses and signal to your body that it's time to unwind. Far from being a mere room, your sleep environment becomes a partner in your quest for rest. Begin with the lighting, dim, soft, and warm. Exposure to bright, artificial light before bed can signal to your brain that it's still daytime, delaying the release of melatonin. By keeping the lights low, or even using candlelight in the hours leading up to sleep, you signal to your body that nighttime has arrived. Many people find that using red or amber light bulbs can reduce the harshness of artificial lighting, creating a warm glow that feels more in tune with the setting sun. And for those who need a touch of comfort, try adding a small, gentle nightlight that emits a dim, cozy light without disrupting the natural sense of darkness. Equally important is temperature. Our bodies naturally cool down as we drift off, a process that signals the onset of sleep. By keeping your bedroom cool, ideally between 60 and 67 degrees Fahrenheit, you mimic this natural cooling process, making it easier for the body to enter the deep stages of sleep. For those prone to night sweats or temperature fluctuations, breathable, natural fabrics like cotton or linen can make all the difference. These fabrics allow the skin to breathe and help regulate temperature, while soft, comforting blankets can provide a sense of security without causing overheating. And then there's scent, the often overlooked sense that can profoundly affect our mood and ability to relax. The right scent can be like an invitation to unwind. Lavender, chamomile, and cedarwood are known for their calming properties, and diffusing essential oils or using a scented pillow spray can create an olfactory cue for the mind to start relaxing. Over time, as the scent becomes associated with sleep, your brain will begin to recognize it as a signal that it's time to rest. Think of it as a subtle nudge, a reminder that relaxation is not only welcome but necessary. Then comes the often underappreciated power of a bedtime routine. Establishing a wind-down ritual can transform the last hour of your day into a time of gentle release, a buffer between the demands of the day and the quiet of the night. This isn't about rigid rules. It's about finding activities that help you transition from day to night. Reading a book, listening to soothing music, or practicing gentle stretching can help you shift gears mentally and physically. For some, a warm bath can mimic the body's natural drop in temperature as it cools down afterward, signaling to the body that it's time to prepare for sleep. Baths can also be enhanced with Epsom salts, which contain magnesium, adding an extra layer of relaxation to the muscles. Meditation and mindfulness practices also play a powerful role here. For many, the hardest part of falling asleep is quieting the mind, a task that can feel impossible in the stillness of night. Practicing meditation or even simple deep breathing exercises before bed can make a significant difference. These practices allow you to become aware of your thoughts without becoming entangled in them. You don't need to be a meditation expert to benefit. Something as simple as focusing on your breath, counting each inhale and exhale, can help you disengage from the thoughts that often spiral at bedtime. Over time, meditation can reshape the way your mind approaches sleep, transforming it from a nightly struggle into a peaceful surrender. Breathing exercises, especially, can be surprisingly transformative. Techniques like the 4-7-8 breathing method, where you inhale for 4 counts, hold for 7, and exhale for 8, help activate the body's relaxation response. This simple exercise can slow down the heart rate, calm the nervous system, and prepare the body for rest. For those nights when sleep feels elusive, this breathing technique can serve as a bridge, guiding you from wakefulness into the depths of rest. There's a third aspect to consider in your journey back to deep sleep, and it's perhaps the most profound: the way you view sleep itself. In our modern world, sleep is often treated as a luxury, something to be sacrificed in favor of productivity. But sleep is far from a passive state. It's a vital process, one that our bodies crave and require to function at their best. By treating sleep as a non-negotiable priority rather than an afterthought, you can start to rebuild a healthy, respectful relationship with rest. Part of this involves letting go of sleep anxieties, the worries that build up over time, and create a sense of urgency around falling asleep. Many people find themselves lying in bed, counting down the hours, worrying about the impact of a poor night's sleep. This anxiety becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, creating a level of stress that keeps the body in a state of alertness. One way to counteract this is through gentle acceptance, allowing yourself to view sleep as a natural, uncontrollable process rather than something you must force. Remember, sleep isn't something you do, it's something you allow to happen. This shift in mindset can reduce the pressure, allowing your body to settle into sleep more naturally. If you can, embrace the natural ebb and flow of your body's rhythms. Some nights may come easily, while others may be more challenging. By creating a nurturing environment, developing a calming pre-sleep routine, and treating sleep as an essential part of life, you create the conditions for rest to return. And with the support of natural supplements, a peaceful environment, and mindful practices, the path to deep sleep becomes less of a mystery and more of a journey back to yourself. All right, here is a comprehensive, engaging narrative focused on point 4, conclusion and extra tips for deep sleep, crafted to be immersive and compelling. This section dives into the subtle yet powerful adjustments that can enhance sleep quality, giving viewers additional tips and reinforcing the importance of a mindful approach to sleep without a direct conclusion. The tone is conversational, aimed at making viewers feel they can make small changes to reclaim the rest they need. As the quiet of night settles over you, there's a subtle shift that happens within, a gentle letting go as the world around you dims. For a moment, you're simply there, on the edge between waking and sleeping, a place where time seems to slow and each breath feels grounding. In this space, sleep becomes not just a physiological necessity, but a gift, an invitation to step back from the demands of life and allow your body to enter its most natural state of restoration. For some, the path to this deep, restful sleep can feel elusive, as though sleep itself is a door that refuses to open despite every effort. But what if we've been approaching sleep all wrong? What if the key to unlocking true rest lies not in controlling sleep, but in creating an environment where sleep feels welcome? The secrets to deep, nourishing rest are simpler than you might think. Small, consistent adjustments that invite sleep in, without forcing it. Just as with so many other areas of life, it's often the little things that make the biggest difference, tiny shifts that create a cascade of change over time. When it comes to sleep, there's power in consistency, in honoring a nightly ritual, and in embracing routines that signal to your mind and body that it's safe to let go. One of the most overlooked aspects of achieving this deep rest is letting go of the stress and busyness that define our days. Imagine if, just an hour before bed, you gave yourself permission to disengage from the world. No screens, no news, no deadlines. Only quiet activities that gently draw your focus inward. Reading a favorite book, practicing gentle stretches, or even sitting quietly with a cup of herbal tea can work wonders. The act of disconnecting, even briefly, tells your brain that it's time to shift gears. It's a small ritual, but one that sets the tone for the hours that follow. For those who find themselves tightly wound after a long day, practicing gratitude before bed can have a profound effect. It doesn't need to be elaborate. Even a few moments spent reflecting on something positive, whether it's a memory, an experience, or simply a moment of beauty from the day, can soothe the mind. Gratitude helps redirect your thoughts, grounding you in a sense of peace and fulfillment. As you breathe in this calm, the mind begins to slow, moving away from worry and toward rest. Over time, gratitude becomes a habit, a gentle practice that brings a sense of contentment right before sleep. Equally powerful is the simple practice of mindfulness. Often, when people lie awake at night, it's because their thoughts are tangled up in the events of the day or anxieties about tomorrow. By practicing mindfulness, even for a few minutes, you can anchor yourself in the present, letting go of the need to fixate on what has been or what will be. Mindfulness doesn't require you to empty your mind. It's simply an invitation to be present. Paying attention to your breathing, the feeling of your body against the bed, or even the rise and fall of your chest can bring you into a state of restful awareness. It's a subtle shift, but it helps guide the mind away from endless loops of thought, creating space for sleep to naturally unfold. Another often overlooked aspect of sleep is food. You may not realize it, but what you eat, especially in the hours before bed, can make a world of difference in the quality of your sleep. Eating too close to bedtime can disrupt the body's natural sleep processes, as it shifts energy toward digestion rather than rest. Instead, try to finish eating at least 2 to 3 hours before bed, giving your body ample time to digest. And if you must have something, opt for a small, sleep-friendly snack like a banana or a handful of almonds. Both contain nutrients such as magnesium and potassium that promote relaxation and help the body prepare for rest. And while we often hear about the foods to avoid before bed, less is said about what to drink. Caffeine is the obvious enemy, but even alcohol, which many believe helps with sleep, can disrupt the quality of your rest. Though a drink may make you feel drowsy, it prevents the brain from entering deep sleep, keeping you in the lighter stages of rest. Instead, consider herbal teas like chamomile or peppermint, which are caffeine-free and contain compounds known to ease the mind and relax the body. The ritual of drinking a warm cup of tea before bed can become a cherished part of your evening routine, a comforting cue that it's time to slow down. If the urge to check your phone before bed feels too tempting to resist, consider an alternative. Placing your phone in another room or setting it to Do Not Disturb mode can remove the temptation. In fact, many sleep experts recommend creating a charging station outside of the bedroom. Not only does this keep electronic distractions at bay, but it also reinforces the idea that the bedroom is a place solely for rest. Just as our minds adapt to rituals, they also adapt to spaces. By keeping technology out of the bedroom, you create a mental and physical boundary, reinforcing the purpose of your sleep environment. For those nights when sleep still feels elusive, try not to fight it. Lying in bed, wrestling with sleep, often has the opposite effect, as frustration mounts and the body's natural relaxation response is interrupted. Instead, consider getting up, moving to another quiet, dimly lit space, and engaging in a calming activity. This could be reading, journaling, or even practicing some slow, gentle stretches. By allowing yourself this quiet time, you avoid associating the bed with restlessness, preserving it as a place of peace. Once you feel the weight of drowsiness settle in, return to bed with a fresh perspective, allowing sleep to come without force or pressure. The environment itself can play a powerful role in signaling to the body that it's time for sleep. While much attention is given to things like mattress comfort and pillow quality, the room's atmosphere often goes unnoticed. Keeping the room slightly cool, for instance, mimics the natural drop in body temperature that occurs as we fall asleep. A fan, a window slightly open, or even adjusting the thermostat a few degrees lower can encourage this process, creating a cocoon-like setting that invites rest. Blackout curtains are another small investment that can yield tremendous benefits, blocking out ambient light and helping your body maintain a regular sleep-wake cycle. Scents, too, can contribute to this calming atmosphere. Essential oils like lavender, cedarwood, and ylang-ylang have properties that soothe the nervous system, encouraging a state of calm. A diffuser near your bed, or even a few drops of oil on your pillow, can create an environment that's both pleasant and calming. The sense of smell has a powerful connection to memory and emotion, and over time, These scents become associated with sleep, helping to cue the brain that it's time to relax. And yet, despite our best efforts, there will be nights when sleep doesn't come easily. These are the nights when remembering to trust the process becomes essential. Instead of focusing on the sleep you may have missed, try to focus on the rest you've gained. Even lying in bed quietly, allowing your body to recharge, has its benefits. Sometimes, simply removing the pressure to sleep can make a remarkable difference. A mindset of acceptance, of allowing rest to come naturally, can reduce anxiety and shift you toward a state of peaceful surrender, inviting sleep without demand. Sleep is a deeply personal experience, one that changes with age, with life's demands, and with the natural rhythms of the body. Each tip, each adjustment, is part of a larger tapestry, a collection of small choices that collectively make a difference. There's no single solution that will transform your nights overnight, but rather a journey back to honoring rest as an essential part of life. This return to deep, fulfilling sleep is less about chasing perfect conditions and more about creating an environment and a mindset where rest becomes not just possible, but inevitable. With patience, consistency, and a gentle approach, you'll find that the door to sleep begins to open once more. Sleep, after all, is not something to conquer. It's something to welcome with an open heart.